On Thursday, July the 13th, 2023, in Tralee Library in County Kerry, as part of the Pride Week, concerned parents and activists crashed a drag storytime session aimed for children. Around 20 adults facilitated the sexual grooming of innocent children. They were attending the drag storytelling at Tralee's main library. This new phenomenon, drag storytime for children, is very big in the United States and is usually consists of drag queens, which are men dressed as women telling stories to kids in libraries. But in a twist of fate, in Tralee, they had a drag king, which is a woman dressing up as a man and again reading stories to children. This wholesome family fun day was put on by Kingdom Pride and was sponsored by the following. And where would an event like this be without all the volunteers willing to help out the library? All perverted Marxists pushing their perversions onto young impressionable children. There are hundreds of sexual assaults and cases of men caught with child pornography these past few years, where the perpetrators have just walked free. Too many to fit into this video. But the establishment goes all out to target anti-sexual grooming of children activists, which is exactly what drag storytime for children truly is. Drag pedagogy being taught to the most innocent of people, our kids. Activists who believed that kids were in danger with ideologies that has no place around our most vulnerable, our young children. The Judge David Waters, didn't even want to listen to the counter-arguments for these activists who were simply there, in their minds at least, protecting our children. First and foremost, let's look at drag and what it is. Drag specifically is at its core a fetish, performance art maybe. It is inherently sexual by nature. It shouldn't be done in public, much less in front of young children. Drag is an overly sexualized caricature of females performed by men with autogynephilic paraphilia. Quite simply, it is adults' fetish to dress up as different sexes. For whatever reasons, but usually it is their own perversions or deviances. Did you ever wonder why drags are so interested in reading to kids and not our elderly or those in prison? LGBTQ activists know that the most vulnerable children in society will do anything to be noticed. When certain kids, especially kids on the spectrum, lack confidence within society, they now see all other kids and their peers staring at a man in drag. It plants the seed that if I do this, maybe people will notice me. And you create more attention-seeking, mentally ill people within that society. This, ladies and gents, again, is absolutely grooming. Now, as adults, people can do whatever they wish in the comforts of their own home or private spaces, just as long as it consists of adults with similar fetishes consenting to these. The so-called anti-LGBTQ activists in Ireland never got involved with drags, trans, gays or queers until they started targeting the children with their LGBTQ pedagogy and trying to normalise their deviances and degeneracy onto our children. This, ladies and gents, is all orchestrated by the state, and the state is now openly sexually grooming our children.
So we've had to have parent consultations, and the only advice I can give you around that is don't send a letter home to say you're about to embark on this work. That's the worst thing you can do. Don't hold a parents' meeting. You don't want 30 parents shouting at you. Who wants that in your life? That's an awful thing to do. But what you can do is you can survey parents. You can ask them where they feel they need help. You're not asking them if they like it or not. That's not the issue. It's in policy. We have to do this work. But you can say, on which of these equality strands do you need help? Do you need help talking to your child about racism? Do you need help talking to your child about disabilities? Do you need help talking about sexual orientation, gender? And just see what comes back. And so you're doing it in a more supportive manner. So I would suggest that as a way, if you wanted to do more proactive work with parents, to get them involved within that process.
And I'm calling out parents here. You need to take ownership back of your children. You need to see what is actually going on in schools. The fact that the Department of Education is now buying the textbooks don't go home. Parents can't see them. The fact now that children have to keep their mobile phones out of the classroom. They can't record anything. The fact now that children, and this was instructed under EDA as well as DCU, that you create a safe and inclusive environment for children to ask their questions, to ask their explicit questions, but you insist that you insist in your co-produced ground rules that what is shared in the class stays in the class.
Hello everybody, my name is Mary Creedon. I'm an SPHE teacher. I also coordinate SPHE in a secondary school. The ongoing trend of the over-sexualisation of our children is very worrying, and the NCCA have contributed to this, as they have developed a highly sexualised RSC programme for 12 to 15-year-olds with an almost obsessive focus on gender identity. Gender identity is defined in the supporting resources as a person's felt internal and individual experience of gender. For example, cisgender, transgender and non-binary, which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned to them at birth. And I think to teach this transgender ideology to young students will create huge confusion and anxiety. It will make children doubt that they were born into the right body, particularly the girls who may be tomboyish or the boys who may be feminine. Kids instead should be taught to love themselves, to love the gender that they have been born with. And equally so, classes on pornography should not be on the curriculum. Please protect childhood.
Hi, Helena Byrne here, primary school teacher. I recently got information about a course for primary teachers on transgender awareness in schools, asking us to promote transgender inclusion in terms of policy, guidelines and implementation in our schools, and also stressing the importance of names, pronouns and other elements of transition, and encouraging us to use correct language. Now, I don't believe that we as primary teachers need to inform the children in primary schools in Ireland about this issue. And I want childhood protected. Please protect childhood. Thank you.
What in the hell has a drag queen ever done to make you have so much respect for them and admire them so much? Other than put on makeup and jump on the floor and writhe around and do sexual things on stage. I have absolutely no idea why you would want that to influence your child. Would you want a stripper or a porn star to influence your child? It makes no sense at all. A drag queen performs in a nightclub for adults. There is a lot of filth that goes on, a lot of sexual stuff that goes on. And backstage, there's a lot of nudity, sex, and drugs. Okay? So I don't think that this is an avenue you would want your child to explore. They could explore dressing up at home like we all did, like all gay boys did. We all dressed at home and we had a great time. We had a great time with our girlfriends, putting on makeup, trying on clothes, things like that. But to actually get them involved in drag is extremely, extremely irresponsible on your part. And I understand you might want to look like you're with it, that you're cool, that you're woke, that you're not a Nazi, that you're not a homophobe, whatever it may be. But you can raise your child to be just a normal, regular, everyday child without including them in gay, sexual things. And honestly, you're not doing the gay community any favors. In fact, you're hurting us, okay? We have already had a reputation of being pedophiles and being perverts and deviants. We don't need you to bring your children around. So you keep your kids at home, or take them to Disneyland, or take them to Chuck E. Cheese. But if you need your child to be entertained by a big human in a costume or in makeup, take them to the circus or something. When they turn 18, then why don't you take them to the clubs on their 18th birthday? Because it's an adult thing, okay? So don't ruin your child's life and don't ruin us, because that's what you're doing.
Children are like sponges. They absorb all information, planting the seeds of adult sexual preferences and deviances plants a seed within the child. Our Irish courts seems to be overly generous to people convicted of pedophilia and possession of child pornography, whilst on the other hand a lot more stricter with adults who opposes these perverted ideologies and tries to prevent the targeting of our children with events like drag story time. Make no mistake, every librarian, every security guard, every parent involved with the sexual grooming of children is either a pedophile or at the very least guilty of facilitating the sexual grooming of minors. Questions must also be asked about our Irish judges who think child grooming is okay and that pedophilia isn't as bad as activists trying to protect our youth from said pedophiles. The Irish judicial system seems to prioritise the state's sexualisation of our children, while scumbags with thousands of child pornography images walk free almost daily. Children are the most vulnerable in our society. So why is it then that it is more important to push agendas on their impressionable minds than protecting them? There is an attack on our children from the state and from all world bodies such as World Health Organization, United Nations and the EU, and we must all stand up to protect them from the establishment, who I firmly believe is steeped with perverts and pedophiles.
Minister, in recent weeks, Gript has spoken to several SPAG teachers who say that they're uncomfortable with the new junior cycle curriculum because they say that approved textbooks are encouraging them to teach that gender is fluid and that children can change their gender. So my question is, do you personally believe this? Would you say that a 13-year-old can change their gender identity? And if not, why should teachers be expected to teach that?
Look, just in terms of the whole SPHE and the changes that have been introduced, that they were introduced as a consequence of enormous public consultation, and indeed you will be aware that many of the management bodies, both religious and lay management bodies, have all endorsed the new programme that's out there. It speaks to issues of today, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's safety online, whether it's mental health and well-being, whole variety of issues, and significant training has been provided as well. It was rolled out for first year last year, moving into the junior cycle field of things. In terms of textbooks, I want to be very clear about the textbooks. There is a curriculum. Schools have the autonomy to choose or not to choose a textbook, so long as it meets the curriculum demands. But to be fair, that autonomy, and I trust the professionalism of the staff, that they choose the books that represent the curriculum. So that autonomy is there.
But Minister, I mean, you're the Minister for Education, and as you know yourself, there's significant controversy around this among parents when we're talking about gender ideology, among teachers, as I've said, and you know that much of that feedback that you're talking about, the public consultations that were done, resulted in significant backlash specifically to the gender identity parts of the curriculum, which are contained within the NCCA specifications. So again, just to come back to my original question, do you believe that a teenager of, say, 13, 12 years old can change their gender? Is that something that you believe personally? Again,
I'm going to say to you, the curriculum as laid down for SPHE was brought about as a consequence of public consultation. All of the bodies... I'm being very clear here.
But I'm sorry, you're really not being clear, Minister. Yeah. Again, I'm asking you a simple question.
My personal view is that every child in school, irrespective of their gender, their background, their ideology.
That's a different question, though. It is. I mean, of course, everybody agrees, without exception, that children, of course, should be treated with respect and they should be included. Of course, we all agree with that. My question is, do you believe that a child of 12 or 13 years old can change their gender? That's the question. It's not about should people be respected. Of course, they should be respected. This is about something that many teachers are concerned about, many parents are concerned about. They've raised this to you in various formats, letters, emails, public consultation processes. Is this a belief that you hold? And the fact that you're not willing to say that this is something that you believe does that not indicate that it shouldn't be on the curriculum at all?
No, in actual fact, you're asking me, as Minister for Education, do I stand over the curriculum that is presently being exercised in our classes? And I stand over the curriculum. It is the curriculum that has been endorsed by all of the management bodies, engagement with unions, engagement with parents, engagement with the general public, and this is the ultimate, I suppose, curriculum that has been provided for.
So you stand over the curriculum when it says that children can change their gender?
I stand over the curriculum that is provided for by the Department of Education and signed off by all of the different bodies, including management bodies, including religious bodies, religious representative bodies, and the wider consensus that's out there.
Well, the very last question, and I don't want to take up too much time, but I mean, would you not understand how some people will say this is effectively like passing the buck? Because, you know, you're the Minister for Education. Of course, you have the ultimate responsibility over what children are being taught at a national level in classrooms across the country. And yet you're here saying, oh, well, I approve what these various state agencies said and these bodies. And it's almost like an attempt to pass the responsibility around. What I'm asking you for your position as the minister who's in charge of all of these groups, they report to you, not the other way around. Again, do you think that that's the kind of thing that should be on the curriculum? That's all I'm asking.
I'm going to say to you, the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment have been tasked with coming up with curricula right across a whole variety of subjects. To devise that curricula, there was significant public consultation. As a consequence of that, a curriculum was devised. I stand over the process as Minister for Education. I stand over the curriculum that's there as Minister for Education. As indeed, as I pointed to you, so do many, many other bodies who've been engaged in this process.
The average age for a person to realise that their sexual orientation is lesbian, gay or bisexual, according to the LGBT Ireland study, is 12 years of age. Other studies show that the age a person realises that they are not cisgender, i.e. that they are transgender or non-binary, is much younger. If there's a member of your school community who's questioning their gender identity or who is transitioning, please get in touch with TENI, and they have resources for parents and teachers and for the young person in question. In the following video, we see what a teacher can do to help the social transition of a student in his class.
At a parent-teacher meeting, a mother told me that her child, who we called Lucy, identified as a boy and wished to be called Liam. After this, I set about preparing the class for Liam's social transition. I taught lessons investigating and challenging gender stereotypes, and using the book Introducing Teddy, explained that some people don't identify with the gender they're assigned at birth. I said, Tilly wasn't happy because everyone saw her as a boy, but she knew she was really a girl. My pupil Ray asked, so boys can change into girls? And then Julie chimed in, and girls can change into boys? Yes, I said. Sometimes, while the doctor says a baby is a boy, as that baby grows up, they feel inside that they're not a boy, while they might have a boy's name. Like Tilly, they know they aren't a boy and want to change their name. The same can happen for a girl. By making those changes, the person feels happier and more like themselves. Some people who experience this might use the word transgender to describe themselves. Once the pupils understood the concept, and once Liam and his mum were happy, I helped him tell the class. Everyone, do you remember last week we read about Tilly? Everyone replied, yes. Well, we're very lucky to know a person like that, and they're even in our class. The person we've been calling Lucy is really a boy, and is now ready to tell us all. Liam told the class, I've always felt like a boy. My new name is Liam. So when I call the ruller, I'll be calling out Liam McCarthy, and we will all call him Liam, won't we? The whole class agreed. Yes, teacher. Then Paul asked, teacher, is Liam still sitting at our table? I laughed and replied, yes, nothing has changed except Liam's name. And nothing did change, except that Liam seemed much happier in school. A few weeks later, I introduced the pupils to non-binary identity, where people don't identify with being either a boy or a girl. The most important element of any lesson on gender identity is that we put the emphasis on respecting everyone, regardless of gender identity or expression.
There is another resource online that I'd like to draw your attention to. It is Educate and Celebrate, which is a UK organisation that has a huge collection of not only like the names of books, but also lesson plans and resources such as original songs to match some of the books, and they're really excellent. It's a great website, so check out that as well.
They were grooming children with their LGBT plus content, babies that couldn't even speak. This door was open. You take a look in here.
Excuse me, I'm getting...
Oh, okay, sorry, okay. This is not open to the public, really? So, yeah, there was a man standing here. I brushed him aside. I was surrounded by a whole pile of them, completely harassing me and assaulting me. And I'm getting done on 6 level 2 assault charges, public order section 6, public aggressive threatening behaviour, for highlighting the most grotesque, debauched thing one human can do to another: groom children. And this is exactly what it is, lads. And that was our whole campaign last year.
And like, it's on video that they were clearly attacking you and assaulting you.
Yeah.
And you had to defend yourself a little as well.
I did. I had to defend myself. And so did Margot. She's up on assault charges as well.
Yeah.
Because they were surrounding her, hounding her, really trying to push out. This is all on camera. We have the separate footage for this. And because she told him to F off, she's after breaching public order section 6 and assault charges as well.
Yeah, yeah.
This is complete lunacy.
Yeah. No, I won't. This is the public library. We are members of the public.
This is an event. This is an event, a children's event. You would let it.
Oh, don't be touching me. Hey, Steve, can you record this? Where are you, Steve?
Please.
All right. No, we're not going to. We have every right to be here. We've been asked to leave and we refuse to leave. You can call the Gardaí all you want. What should be called in the Gardaí is this grooming going on for children. How dare they? This is grooming. Why'd you have men dressed as women? They're not even dressed as women, they're dressed as prostitutes. Right?
You don't need to be insulting to people.
Excuse me, what's insulting is what you're doing to these kids here. Go on, push me out now, push me out. Push me out, come on, push me out. They're trying to manhandle me. But good luck to that. Good luck to that. Here we are, lads. Right, if you put it on my face, I'm going to have to protect myself. All right, because this umbrella, you disgust me. You disgust me. You disgust me. Now, one of you are proper women here. What you're doing, you should be protecting children, not teaching them this filth. Right? Yo, what's your name? What's your name? Are you proud of what you're doing here to children, are you? Are you proud of what you're doing to children here? What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Hey Margot, catch them there, lad. Where's Steve? Where's Steve?
I don't know, Steve's after Get your hand off me!
You're the one.
Get your hand off me!
Look at this, lads. They're all around me.
I'm recording my friend.
Excuse me, leave the library, please.
I won't leave it. Fuck off out of your fucking face. Go away. Oh my god, give me my card. I swear to God.
Where's Steve? Where's Steve?
I don't know, Steve's out control out it, so I'm getting it on.
Out, please.
I won't.
You're not put this video on the library.
Come here, this is.
Guards are on their way now, and I'm telling you over video without permission.
It's public library. Get your hands off me, big mama. Come on, move it. Move it. This is fucking unbelievable. The shame on ye. Shame on ye for bringing your kids to it. Shame on ye. Shame on ye for bringing your kids to something like that. Get off. Get the fuck off.
Trusting